Well, Sviki brothers and sisters, and Labvakar, or perhaps Labrit, or Labdien, depending on what time of day you're watching this. Welcome to Mission Zero. If this is your first time here, my name is Shawn, and this is The Word with Friends, the show where we take a deep dive into language and communications in order to bring us all closer together. Now, I'm not used to doing The Word with Friends in here anymore. This is the old room that I used to use back in my sort of boring, we shall not talk about season 1 kind of days. But I was stuck at work and I didn't get to record any at all while the sun was up and it's cold AF, so I was not about to go outside in the dark.
No one will come any nearer than that. In the night. In the dark.
So I'm gonna do it in here. So the side effect of that is it's an empty room. I don't really have anything to take B-roll of, so you're just gonna get a shorter version of me talking at you, and so I hope you can stomach that. So what I think we need to talk about today, I said in Battle Cry we were going to talk about leadership this week. This is the theme for Mission Zero this week, is leadership. The most important quality of a leader, by far and away, is meekness. So let's dive into the word meek. See, because we use meek in the 20th and 21st centuries, we have used meek to mean weak. If somebody's meek, it means that they're mousy. They're somebody you can pick on. They're somebody you can beat up. It's the little runt of the litter over there that just gets kicked around. And that ain't true. The truth of the idea of meekness, what it really means, and what God means when He is referring to the meek, is to have strength and not need to show it. Why you don't need to show it? There could be all kinds of reasons, right? It could be you don't want to get arrested. It could be you don't like hurting people. It could be like you don't like getting angry. It could be any of a million things. But the core is you can walk into a room and know you can whip everybody's ass in there, but you don't need to say it. You don't need to prove it to anybody, not even yourself. And that is why it's such an important character for a leader to be meek. There's two things there, right? Can you sort of see the duality there? You have to have strength. In order to be meek, you have to have strength. You have to have power. But you also have to have the restraint, not to need to show it. Now, why is that important for a leader? If people are going to follow you, right? We go back to what I talked about in Battle Cry on Monday about leadership, is if you're the guy with the broadsword at the front of the army, if you can barely lift that broadsword, nobody's following you into battle because they know you're getting taken out quick. But if you are just going berserker, raging, and swinging that sword all over everywhere to prove how strong you are, they may follow you into a path that you didn't have the wisdom to know you shouldn't have gone down because you were trying to prove how strong you are. And that's not leadership, that's arrogance. That's what I'm getting at today. That's why it's important to understand the word meek and to have this quality, because the strength inside of you, the strength that allows you to push through, I've said this many times, isn't yours, it's God's, and it's God sustaining you. Ooh, get this inside of you. If you want to be a you, get this message and take real hold of it. You don't ever need to walk into a room and establish your dominance, because you know that God inside of you is bigger than anything anyone in that room could possibly throw at you. That kind of confidence, that kind of trust in God, that's where miracle prayer comes from. That's where the prayer that moves mountains comes from. That's where the prayer that defeats armies single-handedly comes from. And that's the kind of prayer that we need in our world today. That's the kind of strength you should have. The kind of strength that is so without bounds that you don't even need to show it. This isn't Han Solo. This is like Yoda, right? This is that real core strength. Tap into the strength that's inside of you. You may not even know that you have it, but believe me, you do. Sit on that, mull on that, really chew on it. You have strength, and pray in that strength, and operate in that strength, and chase your purpose in that strength. And may God pour out the blessings of meekness and strength and confidence in you to drive you forward farther than you've ever thought you could. And I love you so much. Peace out.